about the implications of the Brexit for India, specifically for the export sector. I also spoke with the Minister of State for Finance, Jayant Sinha, early this morning on how prepared the government was to deal with this, and also importantly, the RBI Governor's message was that India must continue to reassure investors about opportunities here and about the reform process, and the Minister of State for Finance very categorically stating that this was an opportunity for India to come together for bipartisan political support to try and push the GST bill through, and he believes it could be done in the first week of the monsoon session. Listen in.
Markets are adjusting to a different set of expectations, and whenever the adjustment process happens, it's very important for government to ensure that that adjustment process is an orderly process. We don't want a situation where there are any systemic issues, and so in that sense we will of course be providing the liquidity, and we will be doing it in close collaboration with our colleagues and authorities around the world. So in that sense, the liquidity, the adjustment process will, I'm sure, happen quite smoothly.
And it looks increasingly now that Brexit is a real possibility, is a real eventuality. It was looking very different till late last night, but the morning is showing you a very different picture. Given that, what kind of contingency plans do we have for the immediate term, the medium term, and of course the long term? We still don't know when the notification of the Brexit itself is going to happen.
No, I think in the short term, Shireen, it's very straightforward. We have to ensure that the adjustment process, as expectations reset, as positions are reset, happens in an orderly way, which means ample liquidity has to be there. We shouldn't be in a situation where there are any systemic issues, where there is a lack of liquidity, where counterparties are at risk. Those are the kinds of things that we are monitoring in the very short term. With respect to the medium and longer term, in terms of trading arrangements, in terms of investment and capital flows around the world, in some ways that we will have to wait and watch and see what happens. Because Brexit itself is likely to be a long, drawn-out affair. The Prime Minister in the UK has to first decide when to start the process. Once the process starts, it's a 2-year process at a minimum. During that process, of course, they will have to rethink their trading arrangements with the European Union, with the rest of the world. So it's going to be a longer-term process. Now, through all this, of course, as I said, we are going to go through a more turbulent time that we have right now. It is a risk-off time in some ways, but India remains, of course, a real haven of stability through all of this.
Given the uncertainty, the fact that we're going to be going into a risk-off period, what is that going to mean in terms of capital flows, and not just towards the equity markets, but we've just seen the government announce a bunch of these FDI reforms as well, further liberalizing a lot of the sectors that had already been opened up. Do you believe that that, for now, for instance, is going to face a setback given the global uncertainty?
In all of these situations, people really look at areas where they can invest, where they can do business feeling like they are in a stable, predictable regime. And I think when you look at it from that point of view, you look at it in terms of growth, you look at it in terms of the quality of political leadership, the technocratic talent that we have, India really, I think, is going to become even more attractive than it is right now in terms of investment. Of course, as far as our government is concerned, we recognize that we live in an open, global economy, that we have to be open to doing business in a way that is convenient and easy, that investors have to be able to secure good returns and be able to do it in a predictable way. So all of the basics, all the fundamentals that are necessary to be competitive in this global economy, in this turbulent world, I think very much are in place as far as India is concerned.